Now then, High is putting his 12k that he started the day with into play. Ace Queen under the gun. Of course, he has to go with this one. Edas on the rush. Ace 9 though, if he's to... Yeah, he does actually come over the top here, 49k, so he's been active. And Tarmo with the Ace Queen as well. So, hard one to fold, of course, when he just got 4 big blinds. But 2 all-ins already ahead of him. Decides to ship it in, so up to Claudius, which we haven't seen that much of today. And if he knew that he will be actually in pretty good shape with that 10-5 with all the aces out, but of course not calling with that one. And Edas and High against Tarmo now then. Actually, battle of the 3 short stacks. Edas with the biggest stack of all these guys now, but...
So he's still going to be in regardless, and kind of a bit of a cooler at this stack depth. Wow, Edas would love to see a 4 here.
Yeah, for the split.
High looking for backdoor hearts, and
4,
the
5 or 3.
Oh, there it is. Wow.
There we have the chop.
3-way chop between these guys. They'll all chop up the blind and the ante.
They just don't want to leave those these short stacks, right? Chip leader Sergey now with the queens.
Yeah, we can see his cards as well, so now we know what he's up to.
Yep, this time not a mystery. And he'll be making it 16 min raise as we are on a 4-8k blind level still. Tarmo ace 4 off.
Very close to penalty there.
Yeah, these you'd rather gamble here with a hand like 8-7 suited than ace-4, because ace-4 is just going to be dominated by all of the ace-x that opens in this spot. So I think with our 4 big blinds and the button here, we've still got time to find a better spot. If you had a hand like King 7 suited, Queen 8 suited, Jack 10 suited, 10-9 suited, all of these hands perform way better versus this kind of range. It's rather unlikely that he has both cards live or even is ahead ever of this opening range with the ace-4, so I quite like that fold.
Absolutely, and Sergey of course knows that the guy in the big blind is forced all in, more or less, so he won't be racing with just anything.
Yeah, exactly. Less incentivized to steal when he knows he's going to be up against 2 cards.
Yeah, so 10-9 off now. That's the hope for High, as he's all in for his tournament life. 79 players remaining. Will he be number 79, or will this help him? The flop certainly does with a 10, but still behind, of course. Needs another 10. That's the only thing that can help him on the river. Does not find that 10, so unfortunately High will be the first elimination from our TV table, and he'll be taking down 2.2k then for 79th place.
He will. Alexander rubbing his hands together, and he finds exactly what he's looking for here. Ace-9 offsuit, but ready to go.
Yep.
Can't be waiting for much more than this. Likes to take his time by the looks of things. That little tank with the King 3 off in the last hand, potentially. It could be on a money bubble. We don't get the real-time information. That's manually updated in the top right. So, yeah, it looks like there could be a little pay jump to navigate here.
Yeah, as he saves 1 ships behind.
So he folds ace deuce. Sebastian with King, Jack, and the small blind. A happy reshove here. Gonna have pretty decent equity versus this 4.5 big blind all in. 3.5 now as we're up to the 5k, 10k, so even more of a reason to get the chips in with the King Jack here. Looking to force out the big blind. And gamble versus the cutoff shove.
Yeah, Edas now getting some TV time, because certainly not considering calling.
No, I think again they're just going to be on a pay jump bubble here, and these shorter stacks, the guys below 10 bigs, are kind of incentivized to take their time in these hands. Bit of a blow for Sebastian here. Going to see a hand as strong as ace-9. Usually your King Jack is going to be dominating an awful lot of the range. Alexander has 1,000 in chips behind.
Dead hand over 10 seconds already. Dead hand. Automatically fold.
You are withdrawn in, so you only 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it was over 10 seconds, so it's... No, dead hand.
That
dead
Jap was
hand.
here.
Dead hand. Fold in and go.
Now then, cards on their back.
So if
Alexander giving some extra time just to maybe make that pay jump. But at least he's ahead. Ace 9. Sebastian is the one needing help.
Sebastian making sure that things were going quicker as well as he flops the
Ooh.
king. Backdoor hearts needed for Alexander. The 9 is a route to victory, potentially an ace or a 9 now. And there it is,
was
backdoor
another one.
trips.
Wow.
He finds it, running 9s. And Sebastian, who was, I think, kind of tongue-in-cheek saying, hey, this guy's wasting time here. That's
Yes, surely does.
going to need that 9 of spades, or actually none of his suits alive either. So he could potentially chop with a straight, kind of unlikely when Alexander has 2 queens. So he'll be cheering for an 8-6-7 flop.
And we might actually have a situation where we do eliminate 2 persons in the same hand. If the
Yeah, quarter of the
Sergey
time.
hand is winning, then they will probably then split the 2 payouts for 56th and 55th, I guess, being eliminated at the same time. Sebastian or Alexander. But let's see now as we get ready to see the board.
The only
Sebastian.
issue is with this timing strategy is that you become the stream villain. People are going to be shouting for blood.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone at
No
home
help
cheering
so
for the
far.
6. That's the worst way to get there. The quads. There's the
Oh!
9 of spades.
Wow!
Holy moly! Sebastian Wall with the 1 outer.
1 outer for Sebastian Wall to triple up and more. And wow, the Finn is back in the action.
even when you saw 9.
All that TV time paid off.
All that tanking has just been splashed right in his face. Huge chip lead and ace-king suited. Life is looking good for Sergey, who has a rather modest handed mob resume, as we mentioned, but is in a rather enviable situation here, deep into the 1K on day 3 with towering stack. No one has even a third of his chips at the table. And looks like he might be getting this one through. I think Henry would probably consider calling hands like 8-7 off suit, 9-8 off. Looks like he's going to continue though with the 8-6. Taking a flop here. And look at that for a flop. Bottom 2 pair versus the top pair of Sergey. The money could be going on in here. Feels like quite a natural check raise for the bottom 2, looking to get value from some of those hands like 9s through queens. Of course, ace, king, king, queen, king, jack, king 10, king 9. Sergey continuing with a rather natural small c-bet. But he's not going to like what he sees here. Ooh. A rather pesky check call there from Henry. Looking to keep some hands that he's got completely dead in there, like Jack 10, Queen Jack. 10 does change things now. Queen Jack, Ace Queen, Queen 9, Jack 9, picking up additional equity in the form of straight draws. But Sergey, despite the 9-7 completing, will likely look to continue to seek value on the turn with his top pair, top kicker. Going to be some hands that improve to a straight draw. Hands like 8-9, hands like 6-7, hands like 9-6 suited. Hands like 10-9 now making second pair, 10-7 suited. Also arriving at the turn with the second pair. See your opponent fire through for one more on the river. Does go for another call, playing it really comfortably here, out of position. Really wants to fade a 10, an ace, or a king. Ooh, and there is the ace. So Henry here seeing the bad news. Now Queen Jack arriving with the straight. A rather natural hand to see here. All of the offsuit Queen Jacks in our opponent's range. Our opponent will have hands like Ace Queen and Ace Jack, though, that could value jam a weaker holding. So I don't believe that there's going to be an escape route for Henry here. Just a bit of a cold run out for him. Not going to have so many better hands. He is going to have hands like 9-7 and potentially Queen Jack with the backdoor flush draw on the flop, but snapping it off and sees the bad news there. Played it slow the whole way. Took his chances, hoping that his opponent was firing off with a low equity holding, and on this occasion does allow the Ace King to river him, and that's going to be the fin hitting the rail in round about 47th place. Wow, he is going to go for the 3-bet though. A fearless play for sure. Going for just over a 4x 3-bet, and that is exactly what Tommy's looking for, trying to do his best job of remaining cool and like he maybe he didn't want to see that 3-bet, but we can see with the whole cards that this is exactly what he was looking for. So what's the plan here? And very difficult for 10s to consider their continuation in the hand. Looks like he's going to go for sort of 225. Right. So that's a smallish 4-bet in position, a fairly standard sizing, and now Angel, this is why I felt maybe 10s was not one of those hands that we do want to 3-bet, because facing a 4-bet is just such a perilous situation to find ourselves in now, going to a stack to pot ratio of less than 1, looking to flop a 10, and it comes Queen 9 deuce rainbow, and all of a sudden we're now thinking, okay, if our opponent's got a hand like Ace 5, Ace 4, Ace King, King Jack suited, maybe we want to come along for one more even. So out of position and in no man's land here, the Spaniard. Should see a small sizing here, 20% pot should do the job. Yep, exactly what he goes for. Nice sizing from Tommy. No need to bet huge here. We've got essentially the nuts. We're potentially concerned about hand like pocket queens, but more often we're going to be up against jacks, 10s, king queen suited, ace queen, and the 10s does hit the muck. Rafael, potentially one of the Spanish fans of Angel, coming in with some fighting talk, saying Northern European players are fishes. Well, these events are open, so why not come and battle with them next time? Angel in a good spot now, as I'm sure the Spanish fans will be happy to see. King Queen versus Queen 10, so looking to fade the 10, hoping for a Queen high board for him. Double up incoming. Ooh, that is a tricky looking flop for Angel here. He's going to check out of position. Tommy flops an overcard with a queen high flush draw. There is the flush completer on the turn. Does give Angel a gut shot, and it looks like he's reaching for chips. We go for 35k into 100, drawing stone dead. Let's see if Tommy continues to play this one slow. Likely just going to call in position, try and allow some of the bluffs an opportunity to fire the river as well. Oh, and it's the queen on the river, which gives Angel top pair at a stack to pot ratio of just over 1. Could be bad news for the Spaniard. Goes for another small bet, bets 50k, and he's not going to like what he sees here as Tommy, rocking the Peaky Blinders cap, is likely to be putting him all in here with the Queen High Flush. And it's going to be a gross spot for the Spaniard here, who's just had nothing go his way on the final feature table so far. Tommy the Finn once again showing up. And he does shove, and look at this. Instantly the Spaniard is looking rather unhappy with himself. He does have 8 big blinds left. Now is a good time to take some time and to try to go through the hand, try and work out what his opponent is representing here. Does make the discipline lay down, and the Spanish fans in the chat will be happy to see that Angel lives to fight another day here.
And ace
Sometimes you
10.
get it wrong.
Bahadir has a good run, and also Matthias as well.
Yeah.
I've seen
Both get
kings, ace queen, almost in every hand.
It's exactly what you want at this stage of the tournament,
Yeah,
isn't it? These
exactly.
playable holdings. Oh, wow.
Come on!
Come on, this is
really, it's a good run for both of these guys.
back-to-back action with big hands between these two. Is Bahadir going to take a step out of line now, thinking, hang on a second, little kid, not going to be leaning all over me just now?
Yeah,
So
it might be an
it's-
interesting spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good option just not to let your ego get in check. This time he called. Oh, he makes it
No,
500.
no. The pink ones are 100, right?
Oh, wow.
All in 1 minute.
He's had enough. He's reacted emotionally. It was happening so
What's
fast.
going on?
Oh my God, he's called it off. This is the biggest
No
pot
way.
we've seen.
Wow.
So he folds 9s the hand before, where he would have been flipping against ace king. Now he gets it in with ace 10 offsuit versus queens. Matthias was praying that he got away for the extra 400k, but instead Bahadir has committed the stack under the gun versus cutoff, 6-handed. This is a monumental blow up.
And it's exactly because of the last hand.
Exactly. Just the timing. He
Yeah.
couldn't take it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to see the
Wow.
aggression from the Finn. And now Matthias
Let's
needs
see
to
the
fade an
river.
ace. He does. What an elimination that is. Bahadir blowing up.
I'm actually not too happy about it because I really
No.
like Bahadir.
I know.
It's a
What's
good
he doing?
game.
He did provide a lot of entertainment, but maybe some might say in the chat that that was a ticking time bomb.
Couple of pretty premium hands here. Sergey opening from under the gun with the pocket 10s. Vassal on the button, assumably has some interest. We are very deep here though. Both players about 100 big blinds deep.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just going to fold it. I like the discipline. That when you're that deep against a fellow countryman under the gun, a little bit scary.
Yeah, for sure. Not wanting to tangle with the other big stack, potentially being dominated, facing multiple streets of aggression. So
Yeah.
let's get out the way. Dipvik is going to just call here in the small.
I like the just call with the suited combo, especially again given that this under the gun ranges should be a little bit tighter.
Yeah, although Sergey does have the chip lead, but at the same time, do we want to face a 4-bet with ace-jack suited? Not likely. So
Yeah.
wanting to 3-bet a little bit stronger and a little bit weaker potentially. Interesting flop. Great one for Sergey in many ways.
Yeah, very clean for
Over
Sergey.
pair, gut shot.
And actually, big blind can have a chunk of 6x, 7x, 8x.
Small blind, yeah. So he's going to have...
Oh, sorry, small blind, yeah.
He's
That,
gonna
no,
have 7,
I guess
6
it's not as
suited,
much
8,
then.
7 suited, 10, 9 suited.
Yeah.
Certainly, but for the most part, a relatively neutralish board. Both players having all of the sets.
But some of those combos are very scary.
Yeah, for
You've
sure.
got some 1-pair straight combos, some 2-pair combos.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not a board that you're thrilled to see a continuation from. And I wonder if Borg has any plans further from here. Do we expect Sergey to bet once again, or do you think he's sometimes checking back turns
It's
to...
interesting with that 10 of hearts kind of blocking some of the continuing range.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
he
is.
wants to employ some pot control here and just kind of knuckle this one back, see a river, be able to go for a bet check bet kind of line, maybe targeting some 8x, targeting some 6-5 suited, targeting some pocket 5s potentially, this kind of holding.
Yeah. And if we assume that our opponent has those kind of hands, what kind of sizing do we go for on the river to try and get paid by those hands with the pocket 10s?
I think our hand is worth at least 2/3 pot. Not sure what sizing he's gone for there. Looks like
he's gone for pot. He's gone for the jugular.
Yep.
Tricky with ace high. And certainly think that you might have the best hand as played.
Yeah, you block ace jack, ace king and king jack, so it's by no means an easy decision here. What are the hands that want to bet check bet this line for value? Of course, rivered king x is going to be one of them, but what sort of king x bets the flop on 7-8-6?
Yeah.
King x of hearts, maybe. King 10, king 9, potentially. Checking back the turn on the board pair.
He is going to look him up. Good size there from Sergey. Gets the maximum value.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
That one.
He only needed to be right 1 in 3 times.
Yeah,
so
and I think it was that turn check that got him paid on the river
exactly,
there.
Yeah.
Like at the moment we're at sort of quite calm phase.
Yeah,
40-50 bigs deep.
A little bit
average,
of a stalemate.
but certainly still some clashes of hands occurring. Borge with the jacks on the button, going to be opening.
Aku has been kind of not withering away, but he's definitely lost.
Oh, hello. Withering away, you say? Well.
What a spot to pick up the aces here, and wide-eyed and trying to look as innocuous as possible. And he's just thinking about the glory right now. It's difficult to control your emotions in this spot because you just don't expect to find such a great situation here.
As we are so strong, and as we're not that deep, do we do some flatting here from the small blind?
I don't think so. I think we just want to allow the opportunity for our opponent to jam in the worst pairs, potentially fire in a bluff 4 bet from time to time.
Yeah.
Let's see what sort of sizing he goes for here.
We know, of course, that whatever sizing he goes for, it's probably just getting action anyway.
But
But
get some action here. 395 to go. So
what a brutal spot this could be.
3.5x from the small, and it's really only one decision. You'd have to be a master of live tells or some kind of game flow.
Yeah, just slams it in. And very similar stacks here, right? Yeah. 1.2, 1.3.
What a blow for Dipvik here. This is such a big confrontation. Jacks on the button, facing a small blind 3-bet. We know that we haven't seen an awful lot from Aku Oskari. I was just about to say it felt like he was kind of withering his way out of the tournament.
You were just saying he's withering his way away, and then boom, aces.
Well, that's what you need sometimes if you do come with that rather more conservative style. Let's see if there's any jack for Dipvik, and not even the backdoor clubs are going to come to his rescue either. So just a jack or a jack only, no backdoor straight opportunities. The 9 of diamonds not changing anything. The jack and the jack only. 2 outs for Dipvik. No.
GG's Dipvik.
So
actually, I think he's still in. I think he has like 100k left.
So Daniel now slowly going about business, quite quiet. Had a little heater earlier on, which propelled him from sort of the low 1 million to the higher 1 million echelons, which is could be guaranteeing his spot at the final table. Aku Oskari here, the very pleased benefactor of that aces versus jacks, small blind versus button. One of the dream spots to have deep in the main event.
Good discipline fold there with the queen 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Sergey's not going anywhere there with the 9-8 suited versus Ruslan. Playing 50 big blinds effective, easy peel.
Yeah, lovely hand. Hard to get yourself into too much trouble as well. Pretty nice flop with the gutter ball. 1 diamond.
Yeah, facing this action, I think we're going to have to start betting big as Sergey here. We just have so many good hands. And
Bet he shall. It's
yeah,
not gone for a large size in
not
those.
really. Some of his sizings for me have been a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
I think we really want to start saying, look, I've got all of these sets, straights and 2 pairs now, and you're just not really having those, checking back the flops. So I would even like to see an overbet on the turn from Sergey. And now he's kind of in no man's land with this small hopeful bet, because you could see Ruslan is easily continuing with ace-king now. And the river bet of sort of 2/3 as well. Not the most committed of sizings.
Not the most convincing as well, given how small he went on the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange hand.
Sizing up on the flush completer, Ruslan spadeless. But still plenty of bluffs available, and this is why when we do have lots of bluffs we want to go bigger, because we need to generate more fold equity versus these kind of hands.
Yeah, Ruslan definitely smells a rat.
Yeah, I don't think he's a particularly fearful player either. He might just look him up here. Look at this.
Yeah, great
What a
call.
call.
Great call.
Sergey there, maybe some nerves, trying to make it to the final table, not quite committing to the job and the task at hand.